Welcome back to CKC. I'm Carrie Patterson, and I'm here to talk to you today about pivoting your career, session 3. And this is about personal branding. It's one of my favorite pieces to talk about. And in my years of experience, this is helping people understand how they show up in the workplace, and from a leader point of view, your shadow that is casting across the organization, you're going to have one. And what personal branding helps you define is more intention of the shadow that gets casted. The Pivoting Your Career is a 6 session series. And this particular session, personal branding, is the third part. So if you look, we started out with core values, and this is starting with your heart and really what drives you, your true north compass. And then we went into your strengths. So really understanding what are you great at. And now we're building upon that on an emotional side, and this is the personal branding. Okay, so I have a few logos sitting here on this chart, and I want you to take a look at them and think about what emotionally do you feel when you look at it? Are you excited about that brand? Do you kind of cringe about that brand? Or are you like, this brand's just okay, it's meh? Just I want you to think about that because how you show up at work and everything that you do, whether it's the clothes that you wear, the emails you write, the agenda of your meetings, the anything that you do, how you speak, how you present, all of that represents your brand. So think about how are you showing up and how are you like these brands? Personal brand, it's one of my favorite topics, especially when working with software engineers, because a lot of them will look at me and go, are you kidding me? Who cares about personal brand? That's a marketing thing. Well, you should care. I know a lot of software engineers will tell me, Carrie, I do a great job. I show up every day. I do my work. I go home. That's all there is to it. Well, not really, because people don't remember what you do or what you say. They remember how they feel when they encounter you, especially if you're trying to stand out in the career for the next promotion, the next pay raise, to get the bigger bonus. You're in competition whether you want to be or not. And if you're looking to pivot your career, you need to be able to stand out because typically, if you look at these job boards, and you apply for a position, there could be up to 200 or more people applying for that same role. So, how do you stand out? How do people really know who you are? Well, I have to start with a book. So, what I'm showing you here is really two books, not one, but two. The first one is Career Distinction. If you see there, there's 3 eggs in this nest. Two are white and one is speckled. And of course, your eye gravitates to the speckled one as to why is it unique? What is it about it? Why is it speckled versus not all white? And that standout is really what your personal brand is all about. Amplifiers is an interesting book, and that one I want to pivot that one mostly to leaders, but it's also to anybody who wants to stand out, because amplifiers are what the book's about is people have characteristics of both leadership and fellowship, and we'll talk about it at the end of this presentation, but I want you to realize that amplification in an organization is a real thing, and personal brand mixed with that really becomes a sweet spot if you want to be known across a large organization. This middle piece sitting here, it's from the website that Career Distinction have put on. It's Reach 3 or 360 Reach. And with that, there are two options that you can do. You can do a free option. You can pay up to about $100. I think they have a discount if you do Boost 20. They'll discount it by $20, which is nice. You can do the assessment, and this is really looking at your personal brand, how you come across with people in all aspects, your family, your work life, church, meetups, whatever your reach is of groups of people, this you can get assessment, you can get feedback from them. But the one that you pay for, that one is about getting detailed report analysis, and they do a really great job to help hone in on how are you showing up, how people are experiencing you, and nuances about how people experience you that you could pay attention to and apply, adjust, and change. The great thing about branding is that you can change it. You're not stuck with where you currently are, the way people perceive. It's just intentional action on your part to change however you want to change and to show up in the marketplace. Have a little fun. This board game I bought for my organization, the logo game. And what it was is that I handed employees a couple of cards like this. And you had to, I'm just showing you some of the brands so you can take a look. And what they would do is say, how are you the same? How are you different? BMW, how are you the same? Well, I love luxury and I love going fast. That is, I love to accelerate. That's one of the gifts that I can bring to organizations. How am I different? Well, I'm not German made. So these are how simple, really off the cuff, but it's getting you to focus more in your right brain of looking at something more abstract and trying to relate yourself to it. And it's a fun, creative exercise to help you really get down to the core of who you are. Make sure you create psychological safety if you are doing this in an organization and set your ground rules of what you'll tolerate to be shared. I was fortunate that my team was pretty close, high trust. We really had high trust with each other that we could give honest and radical candor feedback. So people felt safe when they shared. We had a fella that English was a second language. He had Mike and Ike, and he used the word tasty, and he really meant the word pleasant. And we all, nicknamed him Tasty after that and had a lot of fun. He didn't take it the wrong way. He knew that he is trustworthy, he's pleasant, he doesn't buckle under pressure, he doesn't get frazzled. You can count on him to lead and get work done. So, we all knew that, he knew that, and but we were able to have a little bit of fun with it. And it also helped us know how we could help him to give him other alternative words that would express more closely of what he was intending to say. So it was great. It was a great team building exercise and just highly recommend it. Look at logos and just think to yourself, how am I like it? And how am I different? And I think this will help you start to hone in on who you really are. So now it's your turn to get to work. Here's an exercise. This is your homework. This is simple. If you don't take the 360 reach assessment, then here's a simple way to do it is think of 4 categories here: a dog, a car, a breakfast cereal, and a kitchen appliance. And I want you to think about it of what would you be and why? If you were a dog, what would you be and why? If you were a car, what would you be and why? Breakfast cereal, kitchen appliance. What would you be and why? That why factor is critically important, and I want you to think about it. And then I will show you what I did. So for me, I've kind of put together where I kind of fall in that spectrum. So I did the assessment. It was done about 10 years ago when I did it. But it still kind of holds true and resonates with other people when I share this with them and they're like, it is you. So, Honda, their tagline, the power of dreams. But what is a Honda? When you think of a Honda and that brand, you think reliability is going to get you where you need to go. It's not flashy. It can still, muster up speed and it gets good gas mileage. And, there's just a very dependable car that's going to last for a very long time. That's what you think of when you think about Honda. I love Special K. Why? Because my name begins with a K. But there's also I like some of their tagline, and it's the middle one. So this is kind of their evolution. I just took a snippet out of Google when I did the slogan of Special K. But it's it says get the taste and lose the fat. What I love about that is in process. I just want the value of the process. I don't wanna do process for process sake. So I love to cut out process. That is something make it simple, streamline, automated as much as possible, and get rid of all the waste if you can. Sometimes organizations have compliancy, but I try to flip it from feeding the machine to footprints in the sand. So an automation system should be able to tell what I'm doing versus me having to tell a system that I did something. So that's kind of my pet peeve, if you will, in process. The other one is people always said that I'm like a Labrador retriever. So it's like golden retriever and a lab mix. And when you put them together, what is it? It's loyalty and love. And I do love my teams. I am very loyal to them, and I want to see people succeed. I want them to have fun, and I want them to feel loved and appreciated and valued. So that's part of the characteristic that I bring to the team. Another one is KitchenAid. So I love this. This is about the experience of making that KitchenAid does. You can Google KitchenAid and go look at their website, but I just love the value of their brand, that it lasts and it can keep going continuously over and over again. And I do love to work, and I continue to bring it consistently. But another thing about KitchenAid is that it's multifaceted, and that's another piece that I bring, so I can do a wide gamut of different jobs. And so it's always hard for me to target one job when I can do like a bunch. I've had bosses tell me that, Carrie, you do the same work as five or the same work as three people, and so I love that I can do a lot. And so that makes me feel valuable to the organization. And then I had to throw in Carrie Lotion. It's spelled a little bit different. I have 2 R's, it only has 1, but their slogan in the '80s was "Carrie is so very different," and so I kinda use that as a slogan too of I am different and I am Carrie from Carrie. Here's another exercise that I think would be great for you to do as a professional thing is to put together what type of role do you want to be in as you pivot your career? What do you want to pivot to? And what's your slogan or what's your tagline? And so I put here envision dreams, embrace innovation, execute with excellence, accelerate possibilities to reality. So that accelerate possibilities to reality is my sweet spot. That's what I love to do. I've mentioned to you before that I'm in the software side of the house, and so I focus from strategy, delivery, and operations. Those are kind of the three pillars that I operate in. So it kind of blends me between a COO and a CTO because I have that technical aptitude and understanding from system engineering. I've done a lot of system engineering work as well as a PMO, so I kind of have both sides of the camp, if you will, hats of I understand the operational side of it and processes and people and tools, but I also understand the technology itself and how you can deploy it and use it effectively and what problems you're trying to solve. What's the right tool in your toolbox to apply that? And as I mentioned earlier about amplifiers is a great book that I highly recommend. And it kind of lists these four people that are at work. You have leaders and you have followers, you have titled bosses or executives, and you have subordinates. So he kind of defines each one The titled and subordinates are like organizational forced roles. Whereas a leader, they cause people to follow them, and a follower willingly follows somebody. And if you kind of dig into the characteristics, and you can see in my book here, I have like all these tabs and stuff of things that I go back and reflect on in it. And one of the things that I marked in this book is the definition of the amplifier. I thought it was such a good understanding for people to know. And it's an amplifier is a leader who displays strong leadership and followership capabilities that are combined in a unique, synthesized manner to increase the power of leadership. Amplifiers take the power of this signal, whether it's strategy, initiatives, culture, and so on, enlarge it and magnify it out to the broader organization. And so, as you start to think about your personal brand, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a follower? Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to be an amplifier? Where do you want to fit in the world of organizations? And then, how do you want to leave your mark? What is it that you want people to experience when they engage with you? And so, with that, I wish you all the best of putting together how are you like a brand, and think about those unique characteristics and how other people experience you. And then put together a little profile, a little high level profile with a slogan. What are you about? How do people know who you are and what you bring to the table? So, good luck with it. And I'm excited for your journey of the next step, which is applying all of this.